.33 was dipped underwater.
Wow.
It was negative numbers. It was -2.
Why did he post on my channel and not post on anybody else's channel? Why didn't he just keep quiet and let it blow over? Why? I personally will answer that. I think...
All right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power, and I've got a couple of interesting stories for you guys today. Let's get right into it. The first story that I have for you guys today is another update on the Athlean-X Jeff Cavaliere fake weight situation. The story goes on. So as you guys know, Jeff's only response to the situation so far has been a comment that he left on Greg Doucette's video, basically giving Jeff an ultimatum, kind of giving him this challenge of coming down to drug test him and flying him down, paying for his ticket, with the challenge that the loser, if Jeff proves that he's natural and passes the drug test, then Greg has to delete his YouTube channel for making such statements about Jeff. And if Jeff were to fail the test, then he would have to give Greg $1 million. Then Jeff would have to shut down Athlean-X's YouTube channel with over 10 million subscribers. So a very high stakes challenge. But again, I think it's important to note he in no way addresses the fake weights issue in his response on this comment that he later deleted, by the way. So Coach Greg has since responded on his YouTube channel, essentially calling Jeff's bluff. He doesn't accept the challenge. He basically says, number one, he can't leave the country. He lives in Canada because of the current lockdown situation. So obviously Jeff doesn't live in Canada. He lives here in the States. So that would be impossible for Greg. And then Greg also talks about the fact that he respected Jeff. He's often promoted Jeff's channel as one of the more reliable channels on YouTube. And he respected him up until the very end where Jeff decided to lie about the fake weights. So overall, I think it's a solid response from Greg. I mean, I think there's no reason for anybody to delete their channels. I think that's kind of a stupid challenge, especially when the whole challenge is circling around the fake weights thing, or the whole controversy is really stemming from the fake weights thing, but the challenge only circles around this natty or not thing, which I don't think anybody really cares about at this point. Like I said before, that's nothing new. That's something that's been speculated about for years, and I'm sure Jeff is used to that. So why he decided to single out Greg here and only comment Greg's video still kind of remains a mystery, and why he chose to respond specifically to the natural part of the argument, where Greg didn't even directly accuse him of not being natural. He kind of insinuated that he might not be by making the comparison of if Jeff is going to lie about the fake weights, that makes Greg question what else Jeff would lie about, specifically whether or not Jeff has ever used gear. So in a roundabout way, he does say that he doesn't necessarily believe that Jeff is natural, but he doesn't directly accuse him either. So it was a weird thing for Jeff to respond to that part directly when all the videos, pretty much everyone in the fitness industry has made a video about this fake weights thing now. That's been the whole controversy. So the interesting part was that Jeff never responded to that. So we got Greg's response. It looks like this challenge will not happen. And honestly, I don't really think it should. I think what everyone is really wanting to know is kind of a yes or no answer. Were the weights fake or not, or kind of an admission from Jeff or an actual response from Jeff to that topic. The natty or not thing is kind of an aside. I don't think a whole lot of people really care as much about that because that's not the issue at hand. So if that challenge were to happen, it still wouldn't address the issue that everybody's talking about. So it's kind of a weird challenge to make in the first place. But honestly, at this point, I think the lack of response from Jeff so far indicates that Jeff isn't going to ever respond to this, which might be the smart move for him. I honestly don't think he cares about these accusations. I think he's a big enough channel where he can ignore a situation like this, and people's attention spans are so short. He's going to move on, go on with his life, and probably like this never happened at all, and people will forget about it in a couple months or a year. I don't think people are still going to be talking about this years from now. And I think Jeff is probably in a position with over 10 million subscribers to move on from this without ever addressing it. So we might not ever hear a response, and, it's fine. Now, next up in the news, let's move on to something more bodybuilding related, and that is Ronnie Coleman made his appearance on the Joe Rogan Experience. We talked about this in the last news video, that he announced he was going to be on a new episode of the Joe Rogan Experience, and he said a lot of very fascinating things. But one of the things that a lot of people are taking from that and clipping from that, and if you look in the comment section of that video, it's the same thing, is this one quote that Ronnie says where he's talking about his lowest body fat percentage ever. And in that quote, he says his body fat was 0.333%, so less than 1%, closer to 0% than 1%. That's less than half a percentage.
0.33 was dipped underwater.
Wow.
It was negative numbers. It was -2.
You said low body fat throughout the year, though.
Yeah, it's genetically, though. Genetically, it's like that. The police department used to always measure me, and it always came to 2 to 3% every single year.
It's crazy.
And this was off season. This 320 pounds. I went to Cooper's Clinic one time and had it done, professionally. It was 0.33, not even a half %.
What is not healthy? I mean, what number is not? Because you remember what was it?
And then at some point in the interview, he also says he had a negative body fat test result, but I don't know if he was misspeaking there or if that was just, I don't know what that was. Obviously, it's not humanly possible to have a negative body fat percentage. That doesn't even, that doesn't even need to garner a conversation. And if he did have a body fat test that registered as a negative, it was clearly an error because that's not humanly possible. There's a minimum for what body fat percentage a human has to have for their organs still to function, for them to still be alive. And for men, they say that's around 2% because there's body fat that's required, essential body fat, for your body to function and for your organs to not shut down. Your brain, in specific, is over 60% fat. There's essential fats in your organs. So for that reason, there's a certain percentage that you can't go below. So you certainly couldn't go negative because, like I said, unless you were dead, you certainly, it would be impossible to go negative. So if that was a negative reading that he actually did get on a test, clearly it wouldn't be correct. Now, is it possible he could have taken a test that showed up as 0.333%? Sure. Does that mean that's accurate? Absolutely not. Do I think Ronnie Coleman is lying? No. I think he did probably take a test. It probably did come back with that result, but that doesn't mean that's necessarily his actual true body fat percentage because, like I said, they're saying that really on the low end, the essential percentage of body fat for men is about 2%. So to go almost 2% lower than what they're saying is essential for life functions would seemingly be impossible. So again, I don't think Ronnie is lying, but I don't think that's a humanly possible percentage for even the best of the best pro bodybuilder to attain. Now, Ronnie also says in that interview, he has another quote where he says the highest he ever got in the off season in body fat percentage was 3%. And if you look at some off-season photos and videos of Ronnie, he is pretty freaking impressive in the off-season. He never really looks fat and bloated like you see some of today's bodybuilders look. He does always look like he's in really good shape, even in the off-season, but even then, 3% is a stretch. Just 1% over, what they say is the low end of the essential, or people really say that's like the bare minimum that you could possibly have is 2%. So for him in the off-season to only get up to 3% would be insane. And Ronnie says that those numbers come from body fat tests that he took at the police station, which were caliper tests, which we know have a history of being highly inaccurate and have a tendency to not be done correctly. So do I think those numbers that were given out in the Joe Rogan Experience were an accurate representation of Ronnie Coleman's body fat? No. I do think that Ronnie Coleman is a freak and probably had an extremely low percentage of body fat in comparison to all the other bodybuilders at that time. Obviously, he was an 8-time Mr. Olympia. That doesn't come easily, and that doesn't come without being extremely lean and conditioned on the Olympia stage. But do I think it was 0.33% or whatever? Absolutely not. Now, that being said, the crazy side of me wants to say, if any bodybuilder could pull that off, I think it would be Ronnie, because Ronnie has the freakiest genetics, I think, of any bodybuilder to ever exist. And if anyone were able to get down to like the lowest possible body fat, Julius Maddox, who is just about a week away right now from going for an 800-pound world record, all-time world record raw bench at this bench press meet that's happening on June 20th, recently posted a video on Instagram, I believe it was just one day ago, doubling 725 pounds for two in the gym. 725-pound double. I know people say I repeat myself sometimes, but that's a number I want to certainly repeat in this video because it's Holy the amount of weight that this guy can lift for multiple reps. It's insane. And I don't think that's underselling it or overselling it. I don't think I'm overselling it. So just to give you guys some perspective, 725 was a world record not that long ago, and he's doing it for 2 reps. If anybody on this planet can bench press 800 pounds, I've said it before, I'll say it again, I think Julius Maddox is the one. And might I also say, it looked easy. Good form, fast, not too fast, but he made it look easy. I've never seen someone make a 700-plus pound bench look that impressively easy and that impressively good. Now, next up in the news, Dan Solomon recently went on the Muscle Contest International Instagram page doing a live stream there, and he had a message for Phil Heath during that live stream. I'm going to play for you guys that message to give you guys some context before I play it. He's essentially saying in this clip that he thinks Phil will regret the decision if he does not compete in 2020 or if he does not compete at the Olympia again, because Phil has that opportunity to go for number 8 and be tied with Ronnie Coleman and Lee Haney, the greatest of all time. And I think Dan is right here. I think if Phil doesn't go for that 8th title and decides to just shut it down and retire, I think he will regret it. And I think, a lot of people are excited to see, or would be very excited to see, Phil step back on that Olympia stage, especially considering the lack of excitement we've had at the Olympia in recent years. So here's that clip.
You will go on. You will enjoy time with your wife, with your family. You will go on. You will have businesses. You will make money. You will lose money. You will make money. You will lose money. You will enjoy great achievements. You will have an extraordinary life when it's all said and done. But within the context of that life, there will be a chapter, and that will be your time as a professional bodybuilder. And you have done so much already to create a legacy of greatness for yourself, taking this opportunity inside this current window where we are to compete and make history, to do something only 2 men in the history of the world have ever done, and to be able to walk away definitively. You have been blessed with so many gifts physique-wise that, to me, as your friend, as somebody who understands you to the extent that I think I do, I believe, Phil, that you will look back and you will regret not taking this opportunity inside this current window where we are to compete and make history, to do something only 2 men in the history of the world have ever done, and to be able to walk away definitively.
Now, the final story that I have for you guys today is about Hafthor Bjornsson. So Hafthor Bjornsson, about a day ago, posted a physique update on his Instagram page, not to be outshined by Eddie Hall, who has recently been posting several physique updates showing how much weight he's lost and how conditioned he is for a man of his size, or a man that was the size that he was back in 2017. And Eddie Hall's been getting a lot of feedback for how good he looks, how much weight he's lost, how fast he is, how conditioned he appears to be in contrast to Hafthor. But Hafthor did post his own physique update. And hey, he's got abs too. And for a man that is definitely still over 400 pounds, it's almost unbelievable to say that a man can weigh over 400 pounds, probably still significantly over 400, and still have visible abs. It's insane, the size of Hafthor Bjornsson, and I'm still excited to see this fight. So let me know what you guys think about all these stories in the comment section below. Please like this video if you did enjoy it. Every like helps out a lot. Please subscribe to this channel if you have not subscribed already. I would really appreciate it. And as always, Nick Strength and Power, signing out.